Welcome back, legends. I hope you're all amazing. Today we're checking out the brand new Strat Jams EL34H from Blackstar, which is really interesting for a few reasons. The first thing I noticed when I got this, and I've got this on loan from CMI here in Australia, big shout out to the team there for sending this over to me. It's really, really light. Like, you know, I don't have the world's strongest thumbs, but it's not really that difficult to do that, and it's not painful at all. You've got two channels on here. Channel 1, which is kind of like a Fender black panel voiced thing, and channel 2, which is more your kind of British Vox style thing. Built-in reverb, and on the back, this is where it gets interesting. You've got speaker outs, you've got an effects loop with a switchable -10 or +4 level, and you've got a built-in reactive load with built-in cabinet emulation in here. So on the back, you've actually got a line out via 1/4" TRS or XLR, and there's a 3-way onboard cab sim switch. There's also a USB connection on here for USB audio recording and to connect to the software editor for the cabs. So yeah, a lot to take in, and plus it kind of looks cool as well. When I took this out of the box, my wife was asking me, like, what is that? And as soon as I pulled it up, she kind of made the comment that it's very, very kind of retro 60s looking, and I would agree with that. The fit and finish on it is pretty slick. But the most important thing is to hear this. I'm mostly going to focus on the direct tones using the built-in cab sims and reactive load. Right towards the end of the video, I will run it through my usual Marshall cab. I'll put timestamps so you can click around between all of that, and we'll mostly hear it with a Strat and a Les Paul. We will hear some drop C on my PRS because that's kind of obligatory, but this is very much like a vintage voiced amp, and it's kind of designed to take pedals. So we'll hear a bunch of my pedals as well. Let's go. Let's get started. I've got my old Strat plugged into the Strat Jams, and I'm just taking the XLR output on here. So I'm using the built-in reactive load and the built-in cab sims. You can hook up a USB cable, send it to your computer, and use it for USB audio. And you can also hook it up to the software editor to get in and fine-tune the cabs. But I'm just gonna roll with the cabs that come with this straight out of the box. There's a 3-way switch on the back, which lets you select between 3 different IRs. So I'm on cab number 1. I've got the master all the way up on 50-watt mode, purely because I can. Channel volume is at half. I've got the bass turned down, the treble pulled up a little bit, and the active middle control is set neutral. So it is in the middle. Let's just hear on the neck pickup of my Strat. I'll kind of twist some knobs and we'll see where we get to. That's the built-in reverb. You could hear me tweaking the 3 EQ controls on there. And I just brought the channel volume up to about 6 or 7. I'm going to compensate by bringing the master down just a little bit, because pushing the master does kind of push the overall tone and give you a little bit more breakup. There's this sag mode on here. So rather than running 50 watts, you run in sag mode, and yeah, it's just kind of a little bit spongier under the old fingers. Let's hear that. That's pretty sweet on there. I'm actually just going to bring the reverb all the way off on this one. So that's your kind of Fender style channel on there. We will hear that pushed with a few pedals in a second, but let's go over to channel 2. Channel 2 has a selectable boost, and this is your kind of British style mode on here. So just kind of think on this particular EL34 version anyway, like a Vox style thing. Let's just hear where this is at, and we'll do the same thing. Then we'll play around with some different cabs that are built into this so we can hear the difference there. And then we'll run some pedals into it. So that one definitely gets nasty. I like it with the boost on for lead stuff on there, but you've still got plenty of jangle. What I'm going to do is, hopefully I reach around and get the right button here. Let's have a listen to the difference between cab 1, cab 2, and cab 3. Just the stock cabs on here. Like I said, there is a software editor for this particular head, and you can get in and tweak these kind of things, but this is sort of the out-of-the-box experience. Cab number 1. The IRs don't sound terrible. It's so easy with so many of these units that I've tried, whether they are standalone IR loaders or they're modelers. The IRs just never really work for me, but these aren't pushed too far in any one direction. And I like cab number 1 on there. So let's stay on this kind of British style mode, but I'll move over to a Les Paul now. So you heard the built-in boost as well as the difference between the 50 watt, the sag, and the 2 watt mode on there. I'm going to turn the boost off, back the gain off a little bit, and I've plugged a couple of pedals in. I've got a tube screamer, I've got an SD1, and I've got the Source Audio Zeo connected. Let's just hit this with a couple of different pedals, then we'll hear it in a jam track, and then we'll come back around with the Strat and a few pedals on channel number 1. So you'll hear it bypass. It's going to be pretty obvious when you hear the boost come in. We'll start with the Zeo, then we'll go tube screamer, then we'll go SD1. come with a Strat and a few different pedals. I'll start with a custom Anarchy Audio Fuzz, and then we'll just hear the Tube Screamer again, because Tube Screamer into Fender style thing is a winning combination with a Strat. Let's go. Figured it out by now, this is kind of a vintage voiced amp designed to take pedals, but I've got my PRS in drop C. I've still got the Boss SD1 plugged in. It's bypassed at the moment. I'm going to use this active middle control on here to pull out a bunch of mid-range. I'm going to turn the reverb all the way down, and I've actually run it into my favorite cabinet, my Marshall 4x12 with 25 watt greenback. So we're not using the built-in reactive load or the built-in cabinet sims anymore. We're just using my mic'd up cab. And can we make it do chugga chugga things? Let's try. So that's the St. James EL34. They do a 6L6 version of this, and they do combo versions of both the 6L6 and EL34. My understanding is the 6L6 version kind of has a slightly more modern voicing if that's what you're chasing. But if you're chasing the vintage thing, this is well worth a look. It's not the first head to have a built-in reactive load in cab sims. I don't think it will be the last. It feels like a really, really handy feature on here. And you know, I look forward to more of this kind of stuff, not just from Blackstar, but from other manufacturers. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Is this the sort of thing you're chasing for using for gigs and for silent recording at home? And again, a big thank you to the whole team at CMI here in Australia for sending this one over on loan to me. If you want to support my channel directly, there are links to do that in the video description. All the jam tracks you heard in today's video are available on my Patreon. Have a great day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.